I've got some pretty bad squeaking on this Creality Ender 5 Plus. And then I'll move it up and down. And normally what I do, and I've been doing this a while, is using some of this grease on the threaded rod. I'll rub it in to the threads actually, and then I'll also pour a little bit of this is just like sewing machine oil on the threaded rod. Use this cord, I've got this G cord, to run it up and down a few times, wipe off any excess, and that works fine. But I've been trying that recently and it hasn't stopped the squeaking that you can hear there. Right, I've got some POM, P-O-M, like round nuts, M8 diameter, 4mm lead. Make sure you get 4mm lead for these. And they do screw on there. I've done a test fit here. Okay, you might see that. And I'm hoping that, in a way, this is very hard plastic. That's my understanding. POM, POM. It's not metal on metal. I'll show you the squeaking. I'll do a home here. It's mainly when it's coming down okay. See, so in that little bit of going down there before it sort of starts a home, it squeaks. And I put grease on here, put oil on. These are new threaded rods, new like brass nuts on. And I'm going to take it, ask it to come down. I'll just move the camera a bit. So I'm going to move axis Z 10mm. Oops, sorry, my camera isn't logged off. Sometimes I think could be also this other one. Well, I have known this one squeak. I tend to think it's this one. But I'm going to replace both of them with these POM type round nuts. It's basically the same as these. I think, yeah, look the same. Logo. And I'll put a link down below where I got these from. Now you have to be careful with the lead and the pitch. I think these are 2mm pitch, but they've got 4mm lead. Hear that? Now I have known that steppers fail, and I thought it was a bearing before on another printer I think I had. But the noise was travelling along to the bearing. That made me think it was a bearing, but it was the stepper that was going. Now it could be the steppers squeaking up on these, but I have disconnected the coupling below and just better it to see the thing, and had them turning, and they didn't squeak. The steppers just turned by themselves. But that's not any guarantee. Anyway, I'll get these two, try and show you the threads if I can. POM type round nuts. I'll put these two on and then we'll come back and we'll see if it still squeaks okay. Well, I've been in touch with Creality, who I've tried to be, I suppose, supportive, and one suggestion there said is loosen these like nuts off. Now I've loosened both of them off. They're extremely loose. There's only one bolt in each side, nut and bolt, Or be careful when you're undoing these, because they do have a locking anti-vibration type washer on. Make sure you don't lose that. So as I say, going up is okay if that's for home here. It's getting quite near the top now. Let's see if it squeaks when it comes down. I'm getting a bit of this like back feed, whatever it's called. There, because the nuts are so loose. That's going to go down. So these sort of nuts, as I said, there's only one nut and bolt in each side here, and that nut and bolt I've got in is very loose indeed. You might see a gap under there. Now, no squeaking. But obviously you don't want them too loose like that, because there is a bit of like backlash. That's the word I was trying to think of. As the threaded rod turns one direction and the other, these are so loose, these are actually physically turning. So, but now if I'm going to keep using these brass ones, it means getting the adjustment just right, not too loose that you're getting a backlash, but still tight enough, you know, well, tight enough so you don't get the backlash, but still loose enough that you don't get the squeaking. Not a squeak there. So that is one idea, maybe, to loosen these off a little bit. Just what I would term as maybe snug, I don't know. Right, I'm still going to fit these POM things, because I don't want to muck about with these being any sort of looseness in there in case we do get the backlash. These are not backlash nuts sort of thing. Backlash nuts can have a spring in. These just rely on the weight of the bed, I think, to stop any backlash. Let's come back on. Right, I'm going to fit the POMs, tighten them up pretty tight, and we'll see if it squeaks with the POM plastic type nuts on when it's coming down, even though I'll tighten them up. So these POM ones are just that little bit more snug. I can feel that, like a bit of friction there. And this is with grease and oil on. This is one of the brass ones I've just took off. A bit dirty because it's got grease on. Let's pop this on the top here. So this is just to demonstrate the brass one, so you can spin it round easily. This plastic POM one I can't. So let's just demonstrate there. And I think that's going to be beneficial actually. I think the idea of brass here is to wear out quicker than like the threaded rods. These are Acme try whatever. I'll put some details here. Rods, and these are pretty well brand new, these rods. Well, been used a little bit. So I'm just screwing that down, as you see. Make sure it goes into the hole. Line up the 4 holes there. And I'm doing one side at a time. Don't do both sides, because there'll be nothing to hold the bed up. This is only this side that's really holding the bed up on one bolt there. Okay. Right, I've put them on now. I haven't totally tightened them up, because what I intend to do is raise the bed up and down a few times to sort of try and line them up a little bit and then tighten them up. Okay, I'll do that off the video. So they're a bit loose at the moment. Or when you haven't done one side, it will drop a bit, but will be held on the other side, so only do one side at a time. Obviously this is going to knock the bed out of kilter, like this way at least, so it'll have to re-level the bed. Sorry about any shaking here. Try and show you from underneath if I can. As I say, these balls do have a anti-vibration sort of locking washer on, so look after that. So first one I'm going to home. I mean, they should be tight enough to, it might grind a bit here because the bed will be out of kilter, so to speak, because of, you know, this way one side might be higher than the other. It's not, we're not grinding at the moment. It's only when I really tighten these up that we'll know. Let's take it down. I did put these flexible couplings on the Checkreality end of 5 to have pretty solid couplings. These have another advantage is that these have two balls, so you can tighten one up loosely, so just touching the threaded rod. I'm going to call them threaded rods, or lead screws really, and then tighten the other one on that so it's more central, so to speak. But that seems to be moving there. After this I'm going to take it up, no squeaking. As I say, these are a bit loose, so it's only when I tighten it that we'll know. Okay, I've tightened the nuts and bolts up there. Now I do have some code, G code in here to do a Z test. I still haven't checked the level of the bed here after doing that, which I need to do. So it's mainly, as I say, when it goes down. Let's see if it squeaks at all. And as you see, that's going down pretty fast. Because it's going that speed, I would certainly expect it to squeak here. So all I'm asking it to go down to. Oh, yes, the G code to go down more than that actually. But no squeaking there. So putting these POM round nuts on, M8 by 4mm lead. Start to still have the 2mm pitch because that's the distance between the threads. I'll put some details here. And in the description as well if I can. Anyway, so let's see if it does it going down here. Well, certainly not the squeaking I heard earlier. raises the bed all the way and then goes down about 150 millimeters or so. Pretty fast here, as you'll see. Just to make almost sure, when it gets near the top, I'm going to stop this cord. And then I'm going to take it down manually by hand instead of using the G code I've got to run. So that should come down a bit slower. So it'll be different speed coming down to see if that has any impact on the squeaking or not with these POM round nuts. So I'm pressing stop there. I might say there's a bit of wobble in this, particularly this lead screw on this side. It's moving about a bit. Now some people do fit like a bearing at the top, but I don't know about doing that. That's going to restrict the movement of the lead screw and almost force the bed to move instead of the lead screw moving side to side maybe. So I'm doing an auto home here to bring it up. Okay. Now I'm going to check the level here. So what I do, I use this like caliper type thing here. Just have it touching, well actually scraping. I can hear it scraping the depth sort of gauge there. Now there's no need to measure this. Don't need to know that. This has to be basically the same. So I need to come down here. So I'm going to turn the threaded rod. Well, I keep saying threaded, not rod. Technically speaking, it's a lead screw. So just turn that slowly so it doesn't generate any electricity back feed into the control. Now, because you turn one, it doesn't affect the other, so you need to go backwards and like left to right. Sorry, this is going out. So I've done that side, I've had to come back this side. Likewise, turn the thing so that's depth, end of the depth gauge there is just touching. This one needs to come back up a little bit. Check this side. So that levels like the gantry thing, leaving off, and then you can use the 4 normal things to level the bed after that. So I don't generally measure that, no need. So I'm measuring from the beam, top of the beam here to this sort of plate here, not the actual bed, because the bed could be a different thing. So let's come down now to show you it's not squeaking, hopefully still 10mm. That's for 250 here. So the bedding might need a little bit of adjustment here. We'll do that off camera. Even using this, it might not be totally, like spot on or accurate enough, so to speak. So the bed might be still a little bit out of kilter. And can you hear it? No, you can't. No noise. So it's, when using the brass ones, it's metal on metal, even though brass is softer. I think the idea of brass there is to be sacrificial, to wear down quicker than the lead screws. Right. That's obviously working okay. Now I might pour a bit more grease on these. Let's see if you think 3D printing is clean. Okay, that's what I would say is success for that, after a lot of mucking about.